and a prosperous new year from Independent Television and Radio.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable.
Well, Season's Greetings is awesome, amazing to know that basically we've made it up to this time of the year. And in just less than 48 hours, we will be experiencing the ambience of 2026. It's been awesome. It's been great. And basically we'll look at how we started the year 2025. Well, for some, it was glitz and glamour. And of course, topsy-turvy, you know, all the flip-flops that came, but we're still alive, strong and healthy. Basically, this period, a lot of persons are embarking on holidays, going on vacations to spend the Yuletide, and we look at what is happening, you know, across board. And of course, it's important that we feel the pulse of the nation. It's not been easy. It's been tragic, you know, most moments we had in Nigeria because of the insecurity that have bedeviled the country, most especially when there have been challenges as regards how to tackle it headlong, you know, over a decade, and seems almost impossible. But we had the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Ahmed Bola Tinubu, who basically assumed office, and he already promised that he's going to hit the ground running and, of course, tackle this headlong. And it's been almost 4 years, over 3 years, and of course issues are also abound as regards what is happening in terms of tackling insecurity. Well, at present, we can always see situations where people, you know, embark on holiday trips. The president happens to be embarking on a holiday trip to the UK, and well, there's been concerns raised on the fact that is it appropriate for a certain president to embark on a holiday trip despite the national insecurity crisis ravaging the country? And what could this message mean, and how would those victims affected by this insecurity in the country, you know, take this message of the president, you know, embarking on holiday trip when they are mourning? Well, different situations happen, but well, let's quickly take a greet to Abuja, where we have Joseph Kadiri standing by. Good morning, Joseph. It's been awesome having the ITV Network project coming this strong. This happens to be the last Tuesday of the year 2025. Kudos to you, and of course, kudos to you, Joshua. Awesome, beautiful thing.
A very good morning to you, Joshua. Good morning, Philip. Of course, Abuja is beautiful this morning, just that the temperature is not too friendly, especially at night. You just discover that when the power is out, the environment is hot, and you just be wondering. This is happening at a time when the book says from October, November, December, January and February is a time that comes with, you know, very strong and cold wind, but it's different now. That, of course, may be due to climate change, and this is a reality that climate change is here, and we must try what we can to ensure that we reduce, our activities to, you know, increase it. So Abuja is fine. We'll be looking at the 2026 area council polls, and you know that INEC is saddled with that responsibility. INEC is saddled with it as long as local government elections are concerned in Nigeria. It is only part of the FCT that INEC is empowered to conduct. And it is just by the corner, 21st of February is not too long. So much is being said and done. Preparations in top gear that will pan out. We'll look at it at the course of the program.
Well, thank you, Joseph. A lot you said there, and basically let's get your thoughts. And I want to say congratulations once more to you, Josh, who made it up through to the last Tuesday of the year 2025. Great member of the ITV project team.
My greetings to you, Philip, and of course, Kadri over there in Abuja. Of course, my appreciation to have been able to make it this far, especially given the fact that life is not given. You see, as we economic situation, and of course, you know, unforeseen occurrence hitting everyone left, right, and center. But of course, I'm much grateful for life. Well, for us right here in Lagos, we'll be looking at the issue on maternity or maternal health care with respect to improving the infrastructure and healthcare personnel within the healthcare system. And this, of course, is coming against the backdrop of a young man by name John, who is very live, very question answers, and of course will join us to share his experience with the demise. He will be sharing, of course, his love life with her, the situation surrounding her demise, and of course what could be done, especially in the healthcare system, to improve infrastructure and personnel. So we'll be having him join us shortly to have this conversation with us this morning. And of course, I'm being joined here by my co-anchor in the person of Patricia Gabriels. Patricia.
Good morning, George, and thanking God that we made it all to this time of the year. And of course, I don't know why you forgot my name. You want to go to Abuja, right?
No.
You want to go to Charity Tanko in Abuja.
Not at all. Not at
anyway,
all.
we're going to be sending you to Abuja very soon. And just like you said, we're going to be joining the young man later on to talk about what happened exactly in the hospital where the wife died after giving birth or during childbirth. And we're going to look at how this can be minimized, if not stopped completely, moving forward in Nigeria.
Great opportunity to see you again, Patricia, and I can't miss this moment because this happens to be the very last Tuesday for the year 2025, and of course we all made it strong, as ITV project team, and we continue to do this. But well, the health sector has been a big challenge in Nigeria, and we look at the need for the government to rise above board to tackling this issue of infrastructural decay and how to improve upon it. We keep talking about or hearing about government functionaries traveling out of the country for a medical trip. Well, this time around they just disguise it as going on a vacation. Who knows if in the course of going on a vacation there could also be a visit to the clinic in the UK. Well, I didn't say that's what the president is going for anyways, but it's all everywhere that the president shouldn't actually be embarking on a trip, on a foreign trip, in the disguise of having an end of year, holiday, when the nation is in comatose in terms of national insecurity crisis. Well, that's basically what we're going to be looking at and sharing from the Mini Network Center. Well, we're going to be taking a short break. Basically, you can see we have a full plate across the network centers. We're taking a short break, and then we'll look at the pages of the newspaper in order to determine the mode of the nation. But I want to say, season greetings once more to our viewers on independent television. You made it rock.
and a prosperous new year from Independent Television and Radio.
Let's go feed our appetite and let's get the pages of the newspaper and see the mood of the nation. And our first paper will be hitting the screen. We have the Guardian newspaper, and of course what we have here basically is just for you to get a read on what the Guardian newspaper has in that regard. But let's quickly get to the leadership. Of course, on the leadership, we have it where it says, Makinde lied. I never offered to hold down People's Democratic Party for Tinubu. And this is coming from Wike, the FCT minister. Anthony Joshua in stable condition after accident. This report is coming from Lagos, Ogun State. And of course, you get that on page 7. So sad that you have to travel down to your home country and have this bad light. But good to know it's already recovering and in stable condition. All right, this quickly, we have it. It says Otedola divests from Geregu Power, sells majority stake in $750 million deal. Awesome. Let's get a major headline here, which says concerns as education budget stagnates at 6 to 7% over 5 years. You get that on page 5. There's quite a very sad commentary, looking at the need for us to boost the education sector, and of course it should reflect in the budget allocation for it. So unfortunate that for 6 to 7 years now, or 5 years rather, we've had the stagnation of about 6 to 7% on the education budget. Well, just below that, you can see photos of Anthony Joshua during the accident, and of course, quite sad. This again will have to draw attention to traffic regulations and of course roads in the country. It's quite a very sad one. But basically, we want to really appreciate the efforts of those who came by and quickly rescue the situation. You can see that it's quite excruciating to see that we are really having this thought as regards our very own Anthony Joshua, who has made us proud, in all facets, most especially in the sports segment. Okay, at just the side of the cover page, let's get the story here where it says 7 journalists die in Gombe auto crash. You can get that on page 13. This is quite a sad one. And this says defection rumors surround Kwankwaso Governor Yusuf on page 25. Widespread blackout as National Grid software system collapse again. You get that on page 23. Why should this be happening? As we gradually get to the end of the year 2025, we shouldn't say blackout. Blackout is a negative trend. And I think all stakeholders in this regard should fight it hard to make sure that everyone gets into the new year on the bright side and not on the otherwise. All right, this says Governor Bala warns traditional rulers against aiding criminals. And of course, after U.S.-Nigeria strikes on terrorists, coalition demands relief for affected civilians. You get that on page 21. So much, you might say, on the leadership. Okay, let's get to New Telegraph. What we have on the New Telegraph has this to say: anti-terrorism fight. U.S. Christmas Day bombing killed many terrorists. Marjorie has that to say. The Christmas Day bombing, was basically a huge relief for the fight against terrorists in Nigeria, and they never saw this coming, you may say. All right, so let's get to see more here where we have this big photo, and of course underneath, Wike versus Makinde. I never promised to hold down PDP for Tinubu, says Rivers ex-governor. Suspend tax laws until probe ends. Reps minority caucus tells federal government. And of course, this says eating takeout food too often may increase heart risk. That's a study. Just as we are in the Yuletide, too much of food, anything too much can give you a very negative trend. And of course, eating takeout food can cost you a lot of risk. That's what the study says. So just be wise as you get to analyze this. This says, just outside of the cover page, Nigeria thrown into darkness again as national grid collapses. This is a very bad share coming in this time of the year 2025. This says 7 Kwara construction workers abductors. 7 Kwara construction workers abductors demand 500 million naira ransom. You can see that. Well, again, this also leaves a bad taste where the president had to embark on a holiday trip, to the UK, and this is ahead of the UAE Sustainability Week Summit that will be coming at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of January, where the president will have to be at the UAE, but that will be after his trip to the UK. Via the UK, he will be hitting the UAE. But a lot of questions are really popping up as regards, is it appropriate for a certain president to embark on such a trip in the midst of national security crisis? Well, look at all we've seen in the aspect of, abduction. And of course, we have 7 Kwara construction workers already abducted, as the abductors are demanding 500 million ransom. And this again goes a long way to, access the efforts of the Nigerian government in tackling insecurity. But again, we are paying a visit to the statement credited to the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, that said that the president is fighting hard and closely too with security agents to make sure that terrorists are decimated, and of course tackling insecurity headlong. And again, questions are also being raised about what is happening in the state. In spite of all of this, we still see challenges of hoodlums, lynching on innocent citizens and indigents of the state. The aspect of Dr. Don Pedro, a media icon, a veteran, that has been over the news, is another challenge that questions are being raised. Do we have security agents in the state? What happened? Where were they when this whole saga happened? Well, this is coming on the heels of the governor of the state, Senator Monday Okpebholo, saying that the president is fighting hard to tackle insecurity. And of course, what could we say concerning the state and of course the measure of the state government in tackling all of these social vices and violence alongside insecurity in the state? Well, we're going to be taking a short break on this, and of course we will be diving into the discussion segment proper. Do stay.
ITV, certainly the best.
The new Ejong expressed excitement as he danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawori Benedion, who also joined.
Quite a headlong practice for us to really tackle the issue before us. And of course, nobody tells you not to go on a holiday, but is the timing right? At this period where we have the vacation, some companies close up and allow their staff to embark on a very beautiful vacation. So what stops you from that? But can we close the country for a vacation? Well, again, some say, is it not proper that the role of the vice president be properly understood by the public? By the very fact that the president mustn't basically be on the ground all the time. So it is upon us that the vice president will be standing in the stead of the president in the situations where the president is not in the country. Well, this is coming up on the heels of the topic we have before you, looking at the president's holiday trip to the UK. And of course, via the UK, he will be hitting UAE early January, where they will be having the Sustainability Week Summit in the UAE, and that's a very big one for the president. But let's quickly look at this because I have my guest with me in the studio to analyze this aspect of the timing of the president's a holiday trip. Starting from my extreme left, I have a legal practitioner and of course a public affairs analyst, Emmanuel Obakwolo. Big thanks for coming.
It's a delight being here. Good morning, Philip. Good morning, Nigeria.
And of course, I want to say big thanks for coming also, St. Moses Eromosele, a civil rights activist and a political analyst.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Season's greetings to both of you guys.
You too.
All right, let's starting with you, Emmanuel Obakwolo. A lot of things are happening. I don't know how your taste is like in terms of how you grade this aspect of the timing of the president embarking on the holiday trip to the UK and the time where we're having security crisis in the nation.
Firstly, I want to congratulate you on your award as the ITV network presenter. It's an award. It is said that it is only a madman that will go to sleep with his roof on fire. I think backed by the president is an adjudication of responsibility. The president has systematically abandoned his responsibilities as the commander-in-chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. On Esmat Day, we had a bombing of a town, Kangara, precisely Jabu, in Sokoto State, under Kangara local government of Sokoto State.
Okay, well, Weber, coming back to you to continue in that conversation while we quickly take a short break. To stay. great to be back as TMI, and we still have Emmanuel Bakola with us. Continue from where you left off.
Yes. It is said that it is only a madman that will go to sleep with his roof on fire. Drawing from that adage, I want to agree absolutely that the president deliberately shy away from the responsibility of his office. To my mind, there is an abdication of responsibility by the president, particularly at this time of insecurity challenges, crisis that we do have on our hands. Going by what the bombing on the 25th of December 2026 of the bombing of a village called Jabu Village in Tangara local government area of Sokoto State.
Okay.
Yes, a good one. The killings of terrorists and the displacement of terrorists to create more fears in them. But by virtue of the provisions of Section 14(2) of the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria just now, the president is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring the security and welfare of the people of Nigeria. But here we are again, just almost 3 years, the president has again shown to Nigerians that he doesn't care about what goes on to Nigerians or what goes on in Nigeria. And I want to say that I see it as an irresponsibility and insensitive to the plight of Nigerians just now. We had another bombing again in Zamfara. And here we are, the president who is the commander-in-chief, properly so called, wearing that toga of the commander-in-chief, are just abandoned Nigerians, abandoned the insecurity situation. Whether or not he has a vice, the president communicate through to the National Assembly that is transmitting the functionality of his office to the vice president, where we know that the National Assembly is on recess. And we also know that if the National Assembly was not to be on recess, the Senate president, even in his bedroom, he can approve the letter for the president. But that would have been that there was a letter approved by the Senate wherein the president transfer the functionality of his office as the commander-in-chief to the vice president. But yeah, we do not know whether the vice president can act properly, or the service chiefs are now the ones in charge of securing Nigeria. That over the years we have seen a lot of challenges and a lot of crises, a lot of comment, wherein we even know, even a former general in the Nigerian army did say that the military is colluding in its language with even the terrorists. And we see a lot. We saw the Yalwata, we saw other Benue, Katsina, Sokoto, Kano, Borno, even just now. Even in the south here, we see a lot of kidnapping spree. And yet, the president choose at this point in time to make a trip to God knows where, though we are told that he left for Europe. And we saw the catalogs of governors who abandoned the functionality of their office too in their state to go and bid the president farewell. Because this is the only time in the history of this country where you see governors who are so interested in bidding the president farewell. And when he's coming back, they will be there again to welcome him home. They will abandon their state, abandon their people. So I feel that the president is indeed not doing well. That which he promised Nigeria, that which the constitution has so vested in him to ensure the safety of Nigeria.
But
this
don't forget that
is ahead
of the trip. Don't forget this ahead of the trip at the UAE also, where there's going to be a Sustainability Week Summit, which also tells a lot in terms of the participation of the Nigerian president.
Is it a must that the president must be there? Can the president delegate somebody to represent him, like the vice president, where he is the commander-in-chief? It's not the must that the president should be there. But we just see, we've seen again the president displaying that power, that attribute of an emperor. That look, it must be me, and anything that I wish to do, I will do, and nobody has a say in it. But you should know that the power is so exhibiting, the power is so manifesting, the power is that he thinks that are on his fingertips just now are donated to him by the people. The office of the people is sovereign. The office of the people is supreme, because sovereignty belongs to the people. So the president cannot at will choose to do whatever he likes. Now we can feel the heat. Just yesterday, another kidnapping spree, and here we have and begin to tell him that the people of Nigeria are not happy with him, and that he should ensure that the responsibility of his office are carried out. Or else Nigerians will rise one day to tell him, Mr. President, we donated this power to you.
All right, you just made a comment that is personal to you. Not
very personal to me.
Independent television, but well, let's get your thoughts as a civil rights activist and of course a political analyst. What's wrong if the president embarks on a trip to Europe as end of year, holiday? Is it wrong?
Thank you very much, Mr. Wilson. First of all, let me congratulate you on your award, the presenter of the year. So we celebrate you.
Thank you.
And whether it's wrong, simple. I can say it's not. Nothing is wrong about it. It's the optics people are misinterpreting. First of all, we must understand the difference between modern leadership and 1920s leadership. Now, today, the modern leadership involves having a system that functions, having a national security advisor, having chief of army staff, having IG of police, having a functional system. If the system is functional, we don't need a president to sit down in one corner of the earth and he must be dead to result to happen. No. A president, if he must travel again, it must be because of very important assignments, yes.
That will impact the nation positively.
And it must also be because of results that will impact on the nation positively. Let us not forget, let us go back in history. And United Kingdom, my brother here mentioned about bombing here, right, left and center, and the president is not sensitive. I want to draw his attention to the 1939 to 1945, during the World War, when United Kingdom was bombed, right, left and center. What did Winston Churchill do at that time? He was the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. He traveled most. Today he was in America, the other day was in the Atlantic, the other day was in Italy, he was in every corner of the earth, seeking for alliances. Did he get that? He got it. He got America to ally. He got Japan. He got, not Japan, he got a couple of other countries to align with him. And the America brought, NATO was born. And then what happened? Hitler was defeated. Our president is traveling not for holiday. He's not going for picnic. He's going to help this nation.
Well, but that's what the papers say. He's going on holiday.
No.
End of year holiday.
No, the holiday he planned. I'm not trying to defend the president.
Again, we don't know if he's going to be in the course of doing that. We are back on the medical trip.
Let us not forget. He has the right to be medically fit. He has the right to be well. Now, let us remember that he planned holiday this year to be in 3 states in Nigeria and in Lagos before that Christmas Day bombing. So he has cut short that holiday. So what he's going for is a fixed program, program that presidents attend. There are programs that kings attend. There are programs that should not be dedicated.
In Europe?
In Europe?
No, you're talking about a meeting, but what we have is that it's a holiday in Europe. The one we all know about a meeting is the UAE Sustainability Week Summit, which is going to be at the beginning of January.
And don't forget that we have our president is fully in charge of Nigeria currently. The bombing in Sokoto was a statement to the terrorists. The declaration of bandits as terrorists was a statement to the whole world. The bombing in Zamfara, the combing of those forests in Zambisa, that's ongoing in the last couple of days, is a statement that Nigeria is functioning again. So do you need the president to be in this forest? He needs to keep the government working. So I'm not trying to excuse him, but I'm trying to explain to you that the government is not crazy. The government is not stupid. We should all the time be on the side of our government. Whether we like them or not, we should be with them, especially during crisis, when there is a conflict between terrorists and our country. We should not be criticizing our own.
Okay.
It is wrong.
Okay. You made mention, you still have the floor. You made mention of the need to build with the government, basically. But what about those who are victims in the course of this insecurity? What would be the message to them? Or how would they feel that the #1 citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria isn't even in the country, to feel their grief?
Now, we sympathize with victims all the time. It's a pity that we have victims in Nigeria. It's a pity that we have IDP camps in Nigeria when there is no war at the moment. But all this will be reversed. We must band together with our government. By government, I do not mean only the president. Band together with our police. Band together with our military, bound together with our security networks, everybody that's working for us. When there is bombing, we should not take sides with the bombers. We should not take sides with the kidnappers. We should not take sides. We should not begin to blame our government until a time will come, electoral time. That's when you can bombard the government. If you are very offended, then you can tell the government, I don't want you anymore, I vote in the next government. But for now, when we are still fighting, please, it's important that we all the time be with our government. We must not be on the same party, but we must be on the same page against terrorism. So don't say the president is not around. You should not even let them know that the president is not around. Who tells you the president cannot be around in 24 hours? In 24 hours, the president can be around. But the point is that the president traveled for a meeting, like you said. And that's the truth. He did not travel for holiday picnicking, and he has a right to travel if it was for holiday. But because of the sensitive nature of the things of the country at the moment, we can look at the optics. It may not be so palatable that the president will be traveling for holiday.
Okay.
So what is happening right now? He's traveling for a meeting.
Okay, don't put that on me. I didn't say that he's embarking on Europe for a meeting. I did say he's embarking on a holiday trip to the Europe. And from there, it will be embarking on a meeting with at the UAE, which is
Abu
Sustainability, Week Summit, taking place at the beginning of January. And what critics are saying is, why don't you wait till it's January and feel the grief of those who are in pain, in Nigeria, till it's January before you embark on that trip. And just like he said, must it be the president to embark on such meetings? What about the role of the vice president? But I'll come back to you to look into that. But let's quickly analyze this, because a whole lot has been spoken about the challenges, insecurity, and all that. But don't you feel the grip of the president in tackling insecurity?
No, I cannot feel it. Just now, if you look at, we are all celebrating the president of the United States of America for carrying out the bombing at Jabu.
Don't forget that was a collaboration, and the need for you to feel
there was absolutely
there was the president in that.
There was
because
absolutely
without the president that would have happened.
Listen, sir. Listen, sir.
This is a sovereign country.
Listen, sir. We have a government that is quick to deny and also quick to accept when they are afraid of criticism. That's the kind of government we have just now in place.
So you must be talking with facts.
Yes. Now, if you look at it, as at the point the United States carried out the bombing, was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria aware? The answer is a capital no. It was until the president of the United States of America, the person of Donald Trump, tweeted on his X handle that a successful bombing had just been carried out in Sokoto State, Nigeria. That was when we heard all the hula baloo. That when we heard all the hooray for thunder.
Well, St. Moses seems not to be with you on this.
He's entitled to his opinion. But I'm telling you that fact has it.
Like I said, are you coming with facts?
Fact has it.
Because even before that bombing, it was already announced that they should get ready, because all of this has been in the public space.
Who announced it?
Philip, can I?
The question. Who did the announcement? We at first, the same government told the person of Donald Trump that they frowned at when the man said there was Christian genocide in Nigeria, and if it continues, there's going to be a reaction from the United States.
Exactly. So that's exactly the government announced that.
That's why I asked who announced it. It was the person of Donald Trump, not your government, not my government, not our government that did the announcement.
Can I say something?
And at that point in time, we saw delegates who went to United States of America, making several appeals. There was nothing like collaboration.
Okay.
They were only appealing.
Okay, before you continue, please, let's allow you to cut it.
I think you're a lawyer, right? It's important that you are careful with statements that are not true. What you just said now is not only not true, but it's a little bit insensitive, with all due respect. First of all, the Nigerian government was fully aware, not just only aware, permitted it. Under international law, if Donald Trump came to Nigeria and bombed Nigeria without the permission of the president, the whole world would have been agog with criticisms. That is not happening right now.
Okay,
now,
so
wait,
how did the government become aware?
The government is not becoming aware.
I expect you to prove.
I'm coming to
put the facts on the
very
table.
Simple, one by one.
Let's see if there was an agreement that was signed.
Number one, the United Nations African Command is called AFRICOM. Is the supreme military arm of the United States in Africa. The head spoke within 12 hours of the bombing.
Okay.
And he said, and I quote, in collaboration with the Nigerian government, we did this, we did that. That's one. Number two, the Foreign Ministry of Nigeria, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, within 13 hours of the bombing, made a statement. You don't have to. I'm telling you what you know, and it's a pity that you are misrepresenting the public the facts. And they made a statement, and it's in public domain that this was in collaboration with the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That's one. All international organizations, all international news media, including ITV.
Don't forget you borrowed that time. It's not your time yet.
Thank you.
So just to set the record straight, and basically let's come back to you. But I think let's look at what is really on board, because I think that puts paid to it. If the president, the #1 citizen of the country, can agree to the fact that that was a collaboration, what then do you have to say?
Look at the time space he's talking about. 13 hours, 12 hours.
But the president,
is that not enough time?
But the president agreed that it was a collaboration.
I just told you from the outset that we have a government who is quick to deny and quick to accept. I just told you that. And that is the style we've seen with this government.
But is this in favor of the countries?
You,
is it in favor of the countries fight against terrorism?
We claim to be giants of Africa. Is it really in favor that a giant of Africa like Nigeria cannot combat terrorism for all these years? I'm not just saying with specific reference to the government in this administration. For all these years, precisely from 2013 till date, we've not been able to combat terrorism. Yet ECOMOG went to other African countries and conquered. And I did also say, I quoted the person of General Theophilus Danjuma, retired, who said that the military is colluding. But that is not the issue just now. The issue is this: have we been able to combat terrorism? If we were able to combat terrorism, why did America strike? Why did they strike? That is the question. So we have a system, if there is, where we are quick to deny, even where there are facts pointing to that direction, even where there are indices pointing to that direction, we quick to deny. And even when you present the facts, the government, their sympathizers and supporters will tell you, oh, that is not really the narrative. This is the narrative. We are quick to do that. But let me tell you, whether anybody likes it or not, whether anybody believes it or not, is that we are faced with a serious insecurity crisis just now. And what are we doing? And in particularly at this point in time, where we have series of bombings, the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the commander-in-chief, has vehemently disappeared from the country. And we are told by his spokespersons that, oh, the president is going for holiday in Europe. Then 1st of January, we are not going to hear anything from the president. Maybe we will hear it via Zoom. With respect to government programs for the year come 2026, you can see that this is a government who runs Nigeria the way they are running motor park activities. And that is why I think that this is not the timing of the president leaving the shores of Nigeria for Europe via Abu Dhabi is not a good one. I think his advisors need to tell him nothing but the chloroquine bitter truth, and the president himself need to sit down, because this carnival that the president goes on every time now and then on the guise of going for medical trip, going for holidays here and there, I think it's not a good one for Africa. The president can also take his holidays in Lagos. Why did he choose to go to Europe? That is wasteful venture. Okay. And yet they are telling us that tomorrow they will tell Nigerians that, oh, we are going to see that we want to recruit investors into Nigeria with with insecurity challenges. Which investor will come to Nigeria to invest in this kind of situation?
Thank you.
So I think the president need to do better.
Thank you, Emmanuel Bakolo. In the course of the weekend, the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebholo, also made some very, very remarkable statements as regards the fight against terrorism. Of course, the effort of the president in tackling insecurity, where he said that the president is fighting very, very closely with security agents to make sure that this aspect of insecurity is tackled headlong, and he really poured encomiums on the president. But that wouldn't be news, as you may say. But again, looking at the security in Edo State, it is expected that as the chief security officer of the state, will also feel the pulse of how the security, you know, is being fed in Edo State. We take our minds back to what transpired, you know, some days back on Sunday, basically, where a media icon, a veteran, Dr. Don Obaseki, Pedro Obaseki, you know, was lynched upon, you know, over the weekend as regards, you know, not being able to properly talk about a particular way of salutation, you know. All of this, again, has been raised as concerns, you know, from the point where he was lynched upon, where he was paraded even to the palace area. We didn't feel or see any security outfit or agents that could, you know, tackle this headlong or rescue this media icon from being lynched upon by these hoodlums and miscreants. So let's feel your pause in this. St. Moses Iromosele, the comment credited to the governor of Edo State as regards the remarkable, you know, efforts being put by the president in tackling insecurity. And again, vis-a-vis what transpired. How do you see that resembling the aspect of the state government in tackling even insecurity and violence in the state?
Yeah, I think the governor was right because they have access to more information than we do. And that the president is tackling insecurity. And the governor also said something that was not uttered in those words. Okay. And that is, in Edo State, there's been improved security. Yes, I recognize the fact that there's still kidnapping here and there. In the Eastern Southeast, I heard there was 1 or 2 kidnappings. But what happened in Benin, yeah, you draw my attention to Don Pedro's unfortunate lynching by some young men in Benin, has absolutely nothing to do with the Edo State government. Has everything to do with ethnic crisis by certain people who interpreted certain behavior as wrong, and it has also nothing to do with the Oba Palace, because the Oba Palace even protected him from the videos we saw. It's a pity that some hoodlums in our town behaved the way they behaved. There's a lesson I picked that most people do not even see in that story. The lesson is that it shows that there's improved security in Edo State. Number one, last year, or years before, Don Pedro would not go and play football at Uwa Primary School without arms, without security aids. It's not possible. There was, every Christmas was a period of crisis, or a period of killing, or a period of court clashes. This period was a remarkable difference, and that informed why Don Pedro went to the Uwa Primary School, the public urban center. Because he saw that there was appreciable security. There was safety, one. Number two, and that shows that the government is doing something. That's the first sign. Has a grip on security. It's a grip on security in the state. It has not gotten to where we want to be, but it has led to where we used to be. And that's something we must give the credit to the government. There are those young men that did that to Don Pedro, committed wrong to Don Pedro. And Don Pedro has a duty, not the Edo State government, to make a complaint, to sue them. He has a right and a duty. Thank God he's a lawyer. He has a right and a duty to sue those people. So you should not put the blame on the Edo State government. You should even be thankful to the government for creating an environment where you could go and play football in Benin City at Christmas period. Okay, but what happened to the security architecture from that point where he was linked upon and dragged to the palace access? Question. It was expected that strategically you're going to be seeing, you know, some police vehicles and, of course, policemen. Because I usually take some visits to Enugu, for instance, and I really admire what the governor is doing, Peter Mba, you know, as regards that. At every, you know, spot, you see the police vans, you see their vehicles, you see their presence. And if this was what we had on Sunday, it would have been a different narrative. Now, take note, the governor is not law enforcement. Law enforcement, you have to ask the police that question. and the police is governed, is run by system, the IG of police. We need to ask the police the question, because from the narrative, he was beaten from Besawa to Akbava, down to the Arosa, down the Osa, down to Ring Road. Between Arosa and Ring Road, there is a CBN, police, CBN, a heavy police. Why did they not do something about that? So that's the police question, not the Edo State government question. The Edo State government question is the environment that he has created, the safety he has created. And that safety was pronounced that he, Tom Pedro, was able to go and play football at Uwakwa High School. That's the point.
Okay.
Also
let's get a thoughts in that, Emmanuel.
It's unfortunate that my co-panelist is making comments like this. My heartfelt prayer for him is that he shouldn't be a victim, because if he is one, Amen, he will change his comment. Now, when you look at the whole situation, it points to the fact that there is insecurity in the states. From Uwa primary school to where they dragged him to is a very long distance. And mind you, he was stripped naked, just on boxers. That goes to tell you that we find ourselves in an Agbero society, because it is only in an Agbero society you have this kind of practice. And also to tell you how the government, the security agencies have keyed into Agberoism, with all due respect to them. If not, how can, for goodness sake, whether or not the man made a remark or a statement with respect to a reference salutation,
according to them, that was not properly situated.
That is not the talks we saw. Is not their responsibility to so act. I think there are better ways to go about it. If the salutation does not please the authority can say, call on him. He is an important figure in Edo State, for goodness sake, for crying out loud. He's not a commoner that will say, okay, how do you trace him? So that would have been, there are better ways to handle such a matter. But I think what transpired that day was more or less a political vendetta. That's how I see it. Because if not, I do not see any reason why somebody would take responsibility that is not his and act so with so much disdain, with so much courage to carry out that kind of act. And at the close of the day, everything seemed to be okay in this kind of society that we all live in, that tomorrow you never can tell, it may be your turn. Tomorrow you may get old and not be able to carry out some of this rascality as they are doing just now. So I think that the governor is the chief security officer of the state. The governor is the one who takes, who collects, who receives security votes on behalf of Edo State. And the governor should ensure that at every situation, he must, as a matter of fact, constitutionally secure lives and property of the people of Edo State. Like the state in reference you made, Enugu State. See what you said, that at every given point, you will see the security agencies at every point ensuring that there is security in the state. We don't have any here in Edo State. What we have in Edo State, you see some group of persons who will just stay somewhere and receiving money, that is their own responsibility, because they feel that it is their, once they put on uniform, that uniform gives them the rights, the power to so act as they do. But I want to tell you that in this part of the world, we always praise a situation when we are not victims. But when we are not victims, we shout to the high heaven for rescue, for help. But I think that it is duty bound that this responsibility, this act must not repeat itself again in this state. And the governor should ensure that. The governor must call the security architecture in Edo State and tell them, this is my position. This is what I want in my state. I want peace. I want sanity. I want security in my state. We don't want this kind of act. I think that is the responsibility of the governor. Okay. But for somebody to say that it is not the duty of the governor it's not the duty of the Edo State government to say anything that they can continue with whatever they are doing, I think that is a wrong comment to make.
Okay, you still have the floor before I get to St. Maurice. In as much as we're talking about this, this happens to be a very loose end, that unfortunately had to happen. But while we express really our displeasure against that act, let's also talk about what he said, which is also very, very remarkable in terms of the state government's efforts in tackling insecurity. You and I remember when during this period of the youth, during the youth tide, where in past years, where we can hardly sleep over court clashes. Isn't that respite?
It is. To be precise, from every October to January, before now, Edo State used to be a haven for cultists.
So it's a credit to the state government.
It is. It is. It is for him. It's a plus for him. But I think he needs to do more, so that we will not give the state and make the state a gangster paradise.
Okay.
If we combat terrorism and allow gangsterism, and we've really done well. That is another question we should ask. So we should, if we close the door to cultism and open the door to gangsterism, I think it's a minus. So the governor has done well in closing the door to cultism, but he should also ensure that he closes the door also to gangsterism and thuggery.
Okay, well, while the governor was in that service or program, he also asked for prayers, which is quite very, very humble and divine, and very, very, emulating of the governor to do that, where he said that, even while they make efforts to tackle insecurity, there are also some setbacks. Some who really don't want them to, make positive marks, also fight back. But who in your mind was the governor referring to? Was he referring to satanic forces or the opposition?
Yeah, I don't know who he was referring to because I was not on his mind. But one thing I know for sure is that every good thing is resisted. And the governor knows this. And whether you believe in satanic forces or not, they exist. These satanic forces exist sometimes in spirit form and sometimes in physical form.
But the government can always crush it.
Yes,
so we don't need to pray about that.
The government, no, we need to pray about it.
Government can always crush satanic forces.
Government can pray. Nothing wrong with prayers. Prayer is part and parcel of living. So if you do not believe in prayers, I wonder how human you can be without.
Do you agree that the government can crush satanic forces?
Yes.
Because satanic forces can appear in human form. They can't do spiritual.
Wait, no, they can do spiritual. They can do physical. So government will crush them physically.
Are you saying?
Government will crush them spiritually. Government will crush them economically. Government will crush them in every way they appear. If they appear physically, government should crush them physically. If they appear spiritually, government should crush them spiritually. Nothing wrong about spirituality.
Okay.
Spiritualism. That's why we have churches, that we have mosques, that we have all our shrines. They all exist for a purpose. So government should use everything at its disposal to crush crime, including even if they hide in the opposition. Crush them too.
Okay.
But
I was coming there.
Oh yes.
Opposition.
If the satanic forces hide in the opposition, crush them. Because it's like terrorists hiding in some of our brothers in the north, in quote our brothers.
Okay, okay, but what do you make of the role of the opposition in governance?
Yes, opposition is
and how do you identify satanic forces in the opposition?
Opposition in government is necessary.
Okay.
But when you become a resistance to progress, you should be crushed.
Have you noticed that in the opposition?
I do not say that, but when they become,
because the last time I checked,
when they become,
you had sentiments for the PDP.
I'll give you an example.
The last time I checked, you had sentiments for the PDP, and all of a sudden, it seems by the time the governor elect was sworn in,
no,
you changed your mind.
No, what happened? Let me quickly clear that. Let me use the opportunity to clear that. Yes, I was in the PDP for a while, between May and September 2024. Sorry. I was not always in the PDP. I've always been in the APC. I was even the leader of the APC in my ward. So between May and September, I had a quarrel within the APC and in my ward and in my local government. So and it was all well managed.
Okay.
And at the time I was frustrated, and I also saw in the opposition at the time a candidate that I preferred. I have a right to prefer a candidate.
Okay.
Oh, I did prefer the candidate at the time.
Your candidate didn't win.
When he didn't win,
if he had won, you wouldn't have.
Maybe I would have left.
Oh.
Immediately after the election, I left. Not before the sworn in.
Okay.
Long before I left, I resigned. It was in public domain. I resigned over the same reasons I resigned in the APC. I saw in the PDP the same problem, even worse than I saw in the APC. I told myself, okay, why don't you just resign to go home? I wanted to go home and stay. And after a while, between September when I resigned and now, and early this year, I was met, can you sit down and how at home, please come back, the issues have been resolved, X, Y, Z, I will have a place for you. Even those who won are coming back. And that was graciousness. I saw that grace. So this is something gracious, something I didn't see before. I thought they were just bad people. I thought they were just stupid people. And they are coming back to ask me, they still need me, even when I have been defeated. That was something. Then those I worked for, the moment they lost election, till date, they didn't even take my phone calls. People I risked my life for. They didn't take my phone calls. They didn't even reply my SMS messages. I asked myself, oh my God, was I being used as a tool?
And if they are pulled through, probably you would have been dumped.
Of course. I was like a tool, was a transactional people. I told myself, no, thank God everything happened the way they happened. God has a reason for everything. And that's why I listened over a period of time. I told myself, I must be relevant. I must involve in politics to help my people. And that's why I joined them.
Okay.
So I
must say, St. Moses Iromoseli, you are actually an icon.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for your objectivity.
Thank you.
We want to see this kind of breed, who wouldn't be moved by dark sentiments to a point where they don't see progress in a government that is doing well. I want to say kudos to you. Well,
thank you very much.
Let's get your thoughts on that as we look at the issue of closing the gap on insecurity, tackling insecurity. We know basically it's upon the subnational government to tackle it, as much as we also expect that the federal government, the national government, should also tackle it. Now, what do you see as a means, or what can be deployed, within the short term by the state government? Or of course, you already showered encomium on the state government on its ability to tackle this aspect of court clashes. But what do you see as what the government should do in order to, tighten the grip against insecurity?
Well, we are made to understand, just as the government claimed, the governor of Edo State claimed that the president is tackling insecurity, and my co-panelist here said that the Nigerian government collaborated with the United States of America in the bombing of Jabu village. And so I also want to acknowledge them, to the state government to collaborate,
the government,
including him, he's part of them now, to collaborate with the federal government to ensure that there is security in Edo State. Because one thing, only a quick one, the style of politics we play, that's why I don't believe that we're in a democracy. What I think we practice here in Nigeria is a civil rule. It's absolutely different from democracy. And that is why you see all of these praises, all of this. The degree of psychophancy I have seen now has never existed in any part of the world. That is what we see now. So when you see, like the saying goes, a dog will always go back to his vomit. So those decampees, defectors, as you call them, they are going back to their vomit. So they should continue to go. But I think that the proper thing to do is that there should be synergy. There should be this nexus between the federal, state, and local government to ensure that there is security in Nigeria, with particular reference to Edo State and the local governments and villages, particularly the rural areas, because these hoodlums, these terrorists, these criminals look for soft spots
targets
so that they can use. So we should ensure. That's why when the governor came up with the idea of grooming Edo Security Network, I remember I used this platform to make an admonition that the governor should send some of these boys to the interiors, if really they've been groomed properly, so that we can ensure security there, so that our mommies and daddies can go to farm, and that will enable a viable economy. Food will cheap, there will be food security. But we're in a situation people cannot go to farm in the interiors. There will be insecurity everywhere. And so we keep telling the world that, oh, Nigeria economy is growing, but we cannot produce anything.
But don't let us go there. Don't let us go there, because if you want to go there, I don't know what you feel about the price of a bag of rice, for instance. Because that's basically a measure.
Do you want me to give
staple here?
Do you want me to
use to see if a government is trying at all or not?
How much was a bag of rice before the government came to power?
Are you asking me?
How much was a bag of rice before the same government came to power? So why is it that when you talk of insecurity,
but how much is it now?
When you talk, why is it that when you talk of insecurity, give them rice? When you talk of hunger, give them rice. Is it only bag of rice that is the whole issue in this country? I don't think so. So we should not be using the price of bag of rice to measure whether the government is doing well or not. We shouldn't.
What I think is that power, for instance, we are already having drops in the national grid.
This is
and they are praying that we don't go into the new year in darkness.
This is the calamity of banding. They have banded you. They have banded me. So this is the calamity we are getting. The consequence of banding.
We pray for redemption.
Which redemption? When the president has left everyone of our abandoned us, and we just read on the news just now that the national grid has collapsed. Even in dry season, it's collapsing. In rainy season, what will happen to it? That is to tell you that we live in a banana island. But I pray, because we have made ourselves prayer warriors. Nigeria is the only country where we pray and pray and pray and pray. And I think God is tired of all these our prayers. God has given us head to use. We should use our head.
Well, quickly, as we wrap up on this, let's look at the issue of state policing, which some have said that, the peak that is getting to at the National Assembly as a result of the intervention of the president will augur well for state governments. I want you to round off on that, St. Moses.
Well, I want to thank the president for his resolve to push the arms of government to particularly the legislative arm of government to support state policing. It's absolutely necessary. Nigeria is about the only federation on earth where the state have no police or do not control police. I've lived in Germany for about a decade. Even cities control police, city police. In the United Kingdom, the cities control the police. In the even United States, you see the mayor is in charge of the police. But in Nigeria, it's a federation like these countries. And yet, we do not have it. It's long overdue. So I celebrated the president. When I saw the president announce that, I said, this man really meant what he said.
But the fear again is if it wouldn't be misused.
Abused. Even the police as of today is being abused. So if you are doing the right thing and they are abusing, over time it will evolve. It will resolve itself. Within itself to resolve. The problem will be resolved. The problem of state policing or of the abuse of state policing is less than the problem we have when a policeman will come from Zamfara to Benin to become commissioner of police. He does not know Biyaya. He does not know Ewu. He does not know Begu. And he's not the commissioner. What are you commissioning? We need a rooted man, a person who grew up here, who went from Ogbelaka, who can become commissioner of police in Edo State, so that he will not be told anything. He knows the criminals, he knows the hideout, and he knows the strategy.
Let's get your thoughts on that. At least you will give kudos, because at the time when, before this intervention, we've always spoken, I've seen you spoken in favor of state police. Am I wrong?
Yes.
So with this development, do you give kudos to the government?
We've not yet seen the state police. We've not seen. We only hear the president making a declaration.
So I will not praise. It starts with legislation.
It's going to go through legislative process.
And
so I will not praise.
The president gave a nod to it.
It's strong.
They can choose. It can work. It may not work.
Oh.
So this is Nigeria, as people say. Let me tell you, Mr. Philip, let us not begin to praise. I am not a sycophant. I won't praise this man until I see the emergence or the birth of the state police and I see their functionality. It's not the one that tomorrow we'll begin to hear different stories. Just as he has pointed out, Germany, United States, those are developed world. Okay. We only make reference to those. They have a system. Yeah, we don't have anything.
They're building one.
We are not building anything. Show me the foundation.
The foundation.
If you are building anything, show me the foundation. Convince me with the foundation. Let me tell you, Mr. Philip, Nigerians are listening to us. Nigerians are watching us. Nigerians are dead tired with the situation we have on hand. And I want to admonish the president, the governors, and the local government chairmen to ensure that there is security of lives and properties in Nigeria. Then I will know that we are ready to go forward. But just now, El Dorado is far from us.
Are you concerned about the abuse of the state police?
But first, let us see its emergence. Okay. Let us see the birth of it.
So whether or not we are going to be a welcome development.
It will.
When we get to the bridge, we will cross it. When it comes to the point where it's been, established.
Yes, but not mere declaration or proclamation.
Okay, well, it's the Yuletide, and we spend this little time to talk about, what the government should be doing. Basically, as we look at entering into the year 2026, some have said what should be the positives we expect in the year 2026. Well, the year started with gliss and glimmer of Happy New Year 2025. And again, in between, we had flip-flops, we had topsy-turvy situations. Of course, we just hope and believe that it's still going to end with glees and glamour. What are your thoughts for 2026?
My thoughts for 2026 are positive. I'm a very positive person about the next year because we went through a very tough year in 2025.
Yeah.
A lot happened, and Nigerians have learned a lot. Nigerians have learned to adjust. Nigerians have learned to think.
Adjust to what situation?
Adjust to difficult situations.
Oh,
yes.
my.
It was a bit difficult.
That would be a negative one.
No,
why don't you ameliorate the plight of Nigerians?
No, we are doing that in building. In building. Sometimes the building, if it could speak, it will tell you it's tired of.
But who are those really adjusting? Is it not just only the masses?
Everybody.
Those in power, are they adjusting?
Oh, they're adjusting too.
Really?
Oh, yes. You see what happened now that we are beginning to bomb terrorists. We declare terrorists in Nigeria.
What about the emoluments?
For 20 years.
What about the emoluments?
It will take time. I am a realist. It will take time. We are not where we need to be. We are far from it. But we have left where we were. We must recognize that reality. We are moving, and we must be encouraging one to another.
So you don't believe in those who say that maybe we take a step forward and 2 steps backward?
We are not taking a step backward.
So can you draw your analogy?
Maybe
how many steps are we taking forward?
Instead of 3 steps, we are taking 1 step.
Okay.
It's going forward.
We are never taking backward.
Okay. Nigeria has moved. Those who have not moved are those who decide to stay behind. Nigeria has moved. Some people will stay behind. When Germany moved in 1945, 1960, from 1960, Germany started moving. Some people still in Germany today are still stuck in the history in East Germany. They say, no, we don't want to move. We are still there. They will be there in the East. But we are moving ahead. Nigeria is moving. We cannot produce oil. We cannot export oil.
I don't know what you feel about the tax laws. I don't know what you feel about the tax laws. What will be coming in January? Some are saying that this is like a tragic story.
We are going to
begin the year 2026.
No, it shows that the government is ready to tax Nigerians. How can you live in a country where you are not taxed? I pay my taxes. I've always paid taxes in the last 20 years. I pay heavy taxes in my businesses. Let every Nigerian that is doing business in the private account pay tax. It's not a crime. Pay tax, let government have more money to settle our debt and to do infrastructure. Government cannot print money when there's no corresponding value. You know, the taxes will come, but the government should be sensitive about the taxes. It should be reasonable, but the taxes must come, should come for every Nigerian.
Okay, let's get your prospects or what you feel about 2026 on the bright side.
2026, individually, I see a way forward for individuals. But generally, and aside from government, I do not see anything coming. One, because 2026 is an electionary year. These men, even when we've not got into 2027, they abandoned governance. They begin to talk about 2027. And now 2026 is nearer to 2027. I don't see any form of governance. But what we will witness is a lot of jamboree and olabalu on elections. That is what we are going to see in 2026. So I want to admonish Nigerians to tighten their belts, because 2026 is not going to be a year where these men, those in government just now, will sit down and begin to think of how they will give Nigerians good governance, how they will make things to be easier, how they will ameliorate the situations of plight of Nigerians. I do not see that happening, as a matter of fact. But I think elections and elections will be all we are going to hear in 2026. Because already we saw a man yesterday boasting that I will be the one that will make a governor in Rivers State come 2027. And I'm going to start my campaign from first day of January 2026. What does that tell you? It tells you the mind of these politicians. It tells you that these politicians don't care about Nigerians. It tells you that the party in power just now, the All Progressive Congress, all that they desire is how the mandate of a particular man will come to fruition. But I think Nigerians should be ready to take over their country.
You said that we don't have a democracy, but rather a
civil rule.
You are a legal practitioner.
Yes.
A member of the judiciary.
Yes.
What do you see as the role of the judiciary in promoting democracy? Because it's one thing for us to have elections, it's another for us to, have litigations. What is the general overview of the judiciary in promoting democracy in Nigeria?
Democracy, what are the tenets of democracy? Equality before the law, due process of the law. I get me. 3 main tenets of democracy. Equality before the law, due process of the law. The other one, I can't place my finger on it just now. And where there is equality before the law.
Are you talking about not being above the law?
In Nigeria, we have those who are above the law in Nigeria. And I must tell you, as a matter of fact, it is more dreadful to subject the determination of who wins an election to the court than to the independent umpire called INEC. If INEC
it's more dreadful
to allow the court to determine who wins an election, more dreadful. That's why, yes, that's why you come with counter. We have counter judgments here and there. We have conflicts of judgments here and there. So it is better if INEC does its job and ensure that the election as spelled out by the Electoral Act is carried out. My brother, there will be no need for even to go to court to determine who won or who did not win. But here we are again. If we allow, because what we have on the ground now is a fighter ground for electoral malpractice, and where the courts will be ambushed.
All right, big
because
thanks.
The courts in this situation may be handicapped.
Big thanks, Emmanuel Obakwala. Big thanks for taking our time to be part of this. And of course, St. Moses Romesele.
Thank you.
Kudos for taking our time to be part of this. We'll now join Joseph Kadiri of our Abuja Network Center for a conversation from that end. Over to you, Joseph.
At Abuja level, at the preparation for the 2026 area council polls in Abuja. Abuja has its area councils, and it is different from what we have in other states. Most time at the end of the election, that one party
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her, now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
matters.
women would stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
what I'm saying in essence is that voter apathy in FC should have stopped in 23. When one indigenous body come out, we want them out this time. Move forward, they are the residents of FCT. We also demand for much good governance again, and that they will get it. They will get it from we as the Zenith Labour Party. I want to assure you that.
Yeah, but on the area of voter sensitization, INEC, has some resources to do that, and is also empowered by the Constitution to do that. How will you score them? You say they are trying their best because you have about 2,800 polling units, and they're supposed to go around and sensitize the people. Besides the fact that political parties are also going out to campaign, INEC has the responsibility to even do more in telling them to come out and cast their vote peacefully and go back. Would you say the commission is doing well?
Well, the commission, we have known they have their setbacks, but in terms of voter education, I've seen sensitizing voters come out. Because, the voting populace in FCT is very, very ripe for happiness. And we, the parties, are most of this marketing, if you allow me to use that language, and most of these politicians and lobbying, letting them know the reason why they should participate in elections. So I want to score INEC over 100. I'll score INEC 40 over 100 for really not doing much in sensitizing the public on voting. But I want political parties have come out and a lot of graduation, and in our Comrade Swani Kuba, Honorable Swani Kuba, who by the grace of God will be sworn in as the next chairman. We are doing our best. We are doing our best in terms of voter that we need to understand, because this is affect us directly in FC.
Okay. An area that we must do, the fact that the menace of vote buying is really pulling people behind. There are some people who have the knowledge of administration, but because of the money politics involved, they are not known. And you also have incumbent. If you have the APC is still there, and then in other area council incumbent or then bring candidate or supporting a candidate, you just oppose it with someone who has resources to use. What is the possibility of having this is what many people describe as leadership recruitment. So what is the possibility of recruiting the best of the leaders that have presented themselves?
Mr. Kadiri, I think you have already pointed out something that is also affecting our party, the Zenith Labour Party. Myself and Honorable Swani Buba, we have had very wonderful private sector experiences and all that. We have not really, we are not really those money back politicians and all that. But when you sit down to listen to our visions, our dreams, and our manifesto, it's enough for you to know that we are going to give desirable governance and expected governance. But again, what is staying out, even now in campaigns, we have campaign, persons from APC and they're all whatnot, they don't even talk much. When they go there, it's all about money back politics and all that, So, but then, what we are saying is this. Nigerians are beginning to know that, if eventually we even collect this 20,000 naira, 30,000 naira at the polling unit, then it means that you have sold your right and your vote for the next 4 years, because area council elections in FCT is for 4 years. It means that you have sold your rights for 4 years. So the people are beginning to look carefully on candidates who are presenting themselves for these area council elections. They are beginning to scrutinize and be looking at whoever is coming out to campaign for this election. Don't forget that if you are found wanting collecting this money from politicians, then the next 4 years you cannot go to Area 10, which houses the headquarters of Abuja Municipal Area Council, to demand for your rights. And if you don't listen to manifestos from politicians to know who is sincere about the implementations of these manifestos, then we'll keep getting it right. So what I want to Nigerians, yes, they may have made everybody go hungry. They may have made things to become very difficult. They may have made everybody things to become very difficult. But then we also need to know that things must begin to work out. The area council elections, local government elections are supposed to be called nurseries of democracy, where you build up young men up to so that they can participate in state and federal government and federal elections. So we need to get these things right from the local government if we are going to get this right. And I'm sure that in February 21st, 20.
Okay, you know how it is with technology. While the discussion is on, it's no longer connecting. I don't know if Honorable is back. Honorable Nonso, are you back?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, so you can continue.
Yeah. So, like what you have asked, about the money back politics and every other thing, I want to say that AMAC will not really hope on politicians who are going to be money back, because this money back politics is what has actually kept us where we are, where politicians go about sharing money instead of reading their manifesto. For God's sake, they have been failure of responsibilities in FCT. If you go around FCT, you witness double taxations everywhere. If you go around FCT, you see that criminal, one chance, popular one chance emanated from FCT. There's the high insecurity in FCT. So everybody at this point who is, are you with me, Mr. Kadiri?
I'm hearing you clearly.
Yeah, anybody who is going to play politics of collecting money for this politician is false purpose. Because at the end of the day, we will all live here to witness. You and I were witnesses to a highland that started 3 months ago at Mabushi Bridge, where the soul of the 4 families involved rest in perfect peace. That was the day of this. I'm facing this highlander trying to collect one tax on, and they drag the steering with this driver, and that's very something. And that is the kind of FCT we see. AMAC, for God's sake, is the administrative capital of Abuja. So why should we be witnessing this kind of good administration in AMAC? So all these things are what we go out to tell the people. Yes, we know that there is hunger in the land, but if these monies come, collect it. It's actually your money. It's actually your money, and you need to collect it, but you need to follow your conscience and vote for good governance.
Okay, there's something peculiar with the FCT, which is to say that the FCTA takes up most of the developmental projects, the road, the schools, the water, hospitals, because, for example, the AMAC, which is supposed to be one of the biggest area councils in Abuja, generates so much resources, but you try to find out where they spend this money on. The FCT minister practically takes up all the bills, all the projects, and is also applicable to the 5 other area councils. And their money goes to their coffers directly from the FCT. So, I mean, if at the end of the election, can we have a change, begin to see the area council venture into putting smiles on the faces of citizens in terms of dividend of democracy?
Yes, Mr. Kandri, FCT, are you with me?
Yes, go on.
FCT is designed in such a way that the minister does a lot of it, but that's not to say that there is no responsibility for
but the responsibilities are not visible.
No, the responsibilities are not visible, but we have governments that are not fit. We have local government chairmen that are not fit for the job. Why do I say this? How did we get to a level where a very dark man, we wear a tutor and school uniform to come to the front of FCDA gate and stand there with children who have been in strike for 4 or 5 months? That's the responsibility of the local government education, and that's what my principal, Honorable Swani Buba, has promised to do as soon as we were emerged as the deputy chairman of AMAD. We are going to grant basic education from primary to secondary. Honorable Mr. All witnesses to a sitting vice president going to give 30,000 naira to market women in Yanya for trader money. Why should a vice president of that kind of empowerment?
That was long time ago in this administration.
That's what I'm telling you. See, the same party with one point of different sides. We in our manifesto and our shadow government, the way we are programmed to run our we are not going to spend them, we are not going to give them.
Okay, Honorable, I must thank you so much for your time. Our time has, we have used it, and we just hope to have you some other time. It is now the time for our network studio in Lagos to continue with the program this morning on ITV. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kari. God bless you.
So we'll now move to Lagos for continuation of the program.
ITV, certainly the best.
The new Edion expressed excitement as he danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawori Benedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
That I grew up in this community to the point that they have now also chosen me as an elder in this community. It's a thing of great joy. All thanks to the Esama of Benin, my people, my family, everybody, all Okada community for this great honor. I am very, very grateful.
Well, this is my brother. I'll call him my uncle because he grew up with my father. I'm so proud of him because we are doing the same rituals as the Edions of the Okada. It is our duty for us to make this place a greater place, for outsiders to come and see the goodness of God in Okada. And I'm proud of every one of us here. So shall it be to each and every one of us in Jesus' name.
Odionima, Okada Zima, Esama Zima, Bona Zima, Obana Zima, Manawe, Mario Sama, Jonena, the Mado Pomisama, the Mado Beken Sama, Emma Dio Warena, Esama. Magbekene Osaba Obuyo Bitone no get Tony Maga not Yami Magame Manido Bekene Denena Ima Yafe Ima Ato Ima Agmo Aropa Wudori Ima Adia Wogene all the Tiagoyano Emi Magame we need just to know me on farm
in Esama in our father's house in respect of our initiation to elders Edion level as tradition demands. We are here today to come and also pay our homage to him, to also for him to also pray for long life and prosperity.
The climax after 7 days was paying of homage again to the Odionwe, where he gave the initiate the full rights to function and to henceforth participate in meetings with Edion. It will go down in the history and minds of Okada community, Ovia people, Edo State, and Nigeria in general. The ambience, style, and the colorful ceremony associated with the 2025 initiation into the Edion Council of former Governor of Edo State, Chief Lucky Nosakari Igbenedion, his brothers Bright Ayamekwe Igbenedion, Honorable Charles Osenwige Igbenedion, Peter Osawari Igbenedion, Dr. Fred Osawuni Igbenedion, Barrister Mike Osane Igbenedion, Executive Director Operations, ITV and Radio, Chief Elder Gwedion Wonse, Honorable Efosa Douglas Igbenedion, Ukponwa Igbenedion, Osawe Igbenedion, Edosa Igbenedion, Dr. Daniel Omorige Igbenedion, as well as Agbong Steve Igbenedion, among other sons of Okada.
Thanks for staying with us. And of course, if you just tuned in, this is the continuation of your ultimate news and current affairs program, TMI, reaching you live from our Lagos Network Center on the ITV network. I am Joshua Okata. And as always, I have my co-anchor, Patricia Gabriel.
Hi, Joshua, and thank you for staying tuned on TMI.
All right, this morning from Lagos Network Center, we'll be looking at maternal health care with regards to improving infrastructure within the healthcare sector and personnel. And of course, to have this conversation with us this morning, joined by Justice John, who is here to share his experience with us concerning the demise of his wife, Akudo, who in a hospital recently under very, disturbing and questionable circumstances. He's here to share with us his love and, of course, loss and advocacy when it comes to maternal health care. Not only will his experience that he will be sharing with us, make us feel so much loved, and of course, the memories that she would leave behind, but of course, he would be sharing the sad realities of our healthcare system with regard to maternal health care. Good morning, Justice, so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you.
Good morning, and thank you for coming.
All right, let's get to meet with you. What was the experience like given the demise of your late wife?
The pain, or the most painful experience, because each time I have to talk about this, it's a whole lot to deal with. So it all started when my wife was registered for antenatal care at Gynec Specialist Hospital Lagos. So we registered at about 13 weeks of the pregnancy, and my wife was religiously attending all the sessions. She didn't miss any session. She had all her scans done, the examinations were good, the tests were done, everything was good. In fact, she even had confirmatory tests from outside facilities just to be sure that the records and the results were okay, and everything was fine. Most of the visits, I also accompanied her to them, and there was a particular visit during the 3rd trimester of my wife's pregnancy. The consulting doctor, Dr. Joseph Aliu Yahaya, my wife asked what the size of our baby was. She was excited about the pregnancy, wanted to know the doctor looked at my wife, had this scan, and then said that the baby was big. And this was concerning for us because my wife had a very slim, and I particularly the doctor that this baby will be important. What do you think? Can't we have a CS That's a safer way because of the size. I'm particular about the size and then the safety of my child and my wife as well. And the doctor dismissed our concerns and said that he wasn't would not deliver with CS, that she was okay, that she would go ahead with SVD, which is the natural means of delivery. I mean, as he is the consultant, he had the experience and everything, so with his, and we continued. All we're required to do, make the payments, which we did on time, attend the visits, and then do whatever, make ourselves available for all of those processes and procedures, which we did. You know, on 1st of December 2025, I returned from work, and my wife complained of mild contractions. Immediately we reached out to the hospital, Gynecological Specialist Hospital in Lagos, and we informed them that we're coming in the next day because of the symptoms that my wife was presenting. The next
Cut it short. Was she already
in labor? Just early for the early contractions. This was although at this time she was already, the EDD was on the 30th of November, and this was on the 1st of December. So we were already told that because she's a first time mother, so she's not expected, maybe the baby would not come on that day.
the exact date?
It could be days after.
Days before,
so
yes.
When she mentioned that she was having mild contractions, we just said, okay, let's get it. So we went to, it was very okay. We went to the hospital on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. And she wasn't in labor at the time. Labor started on Wednesday, the following day. We got to the hospital Tuesday, met with the medical officer, Kwebuka. He did an exam on my, and told my wife was 2 centimeters dilated at the time. And for that reason, my wife was going to be admitted. So he even asked me to go get the pregnancy kit. And I told him that I came prepared. We have everything in the car because, I mean, we have been planning for this. We've been attending antenatal, so we know everything to be done. So we came prepared. So
the man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
they
smart.
Can't
if
down.
you see where they are dressing them or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
The new Idiom expressed excitement as they danced and rejoiced before the Esama of Benin Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawari Benedion, who also joined in the dance. As visiting and paying of homage to various homes of senior elders continued, the initiates spent 7 days performing diverse kinds of rites as required by tradition. They were furnished with rules and regulations regarding their new office as Edion.
To ask how you're doing and you're fine. My wife was comfortable with this man. The entire period, it was the same man who did all the ultrasound, my wife, advice and review office for confirmation tests.
Okay, Justice. I'm so sorry about your wife's death. I understand how you feel at this moment, recalling the memories. But at what point did the complications started? Because there must have been a complication that led to the...
Absolutely. So, entire period, I was present with my wife. I made a commitment to my wife that this pregnancy journey is our journey. So every step of the way, I will be there by your side. You don't look to see me. So my wife was moved to the Lord on Wednesday. She was 5 centimeters dilated. The consultant, Dr. Aliyu Yahaya, induced labor by so that was when my wife now got into full labor. She was ready to push because of the side issue of the consultant in the labor ward. I was there. He said that the baby's head was big, so he needed to conduct an extended episiotomy. Wife, to be able to for the baby's head to come out. So when he did that, the baby was delivered. Once the baby was delivered, brought the baby to me, identified and confirmed the gender of the baby, and the baby was taken by the nurse to go clean him up. Right there, left the room to go see a patient who was coming for antenatal visit, just to do ultrascan. And my wife was in a dire situation. Now, the MO was the suturing therapy on complaining. In the our complaints were this was taking too long, and it is too painful. So she was complaining of pain and the duration of the procedure. I was just encouraging her because I mean we're already there. I wanted the, and I felt in my mind that the hardest part would be to deliver the baby. Baby had already come out. Let's just clean up these things, close up, and then we'll just be fine. Very happy. I was happy that my wife had made me a father. So when the MO finished the suturing after a long time, throughout the suturing the consultant was missing. He did not come. When he came back, the MO had finished the suturing.
How long was that?
Was over an hour. Was over an hour. When the consultant returned to the room, he didn't even examine what had been done by his junior colleague. He just gave instruction for my wife to be moved to the ward. And that was how they wheeled my wife back to the ward. I stayed back a few minutes to be sure that the baby was fine, and then I accompanied the nurse who was carrying my baby back to my wife's ward. On getting to my wife's ward, my wife complained that she was feeling this dripping sensation inside of her. Immediately we called the attention of the MO, the man who had done the suturing. And the man came, he looked at my wife and said that my wife was not bleeding, that my wife was having pile. I was confused. How did we get to pile? I was unsatisfied with that response. Immediately I escalated to the consultant. When the consultant came, he recanted what was said by the MO and said no, that this is not pile, that my wife's vulva was unusually swollen and that the suturing was too tight. These were his comments. Remember, he was not there. He wasn't the person who did the suturing. If he was there, or he would have been able to manage it better. So at this point, my wife was moved back to the labor ward, and she was resutured by the consultant this time around. When at the end of this second procedure on my wife, she returned to the ward, and she was looking pale, she was looking weak, tired. She was looking drowsy. She was asleep and unconscious for hours. We just kept hoping that she will be fine. We're asking questions. The consultant kept saying that her pulse was okay, the BP was okay, and that she will be fine. But all this period, she was still bleeding.
Let me come in there. Was there a standby oxygen by her side? Because, I mean, complications had arisen at this time. Were they things to, help if there's
more like an intensive,
for emergency, if there was going to be an emergency?
Unfortunately, and quite sadly, I did not see any oxygen.
Did you ask? Did you ask?
I asked for oxygen, and that was when the consultant instructed the nurses to go fetch oxygen, and it took them minutes. But I'll come to that.
Yes.
So, but in the ward, in the first room where my wife was, room 1 on the first floor, there was no oxygen there. In the second, when they finished the procedure and moved her to the 3rd floor, suite 4 on the 3rd floor, there was also no oxygen. In that, it was during the crisis that they went to get the oxygen. So after the second procedure, my wife was still bleeding. My wife had ladies' sept that has about 10 sticks in a pack. She had used roughly 6 packs. She was bleeding. In fact, she was bleeding to the point that if you turn her, there was a time they attempted to move my wife and the blood splashed on the wall of the room where she was. That was how much she was bleeding. The doctor, the consultant, confirmed to me that my wife was having internal bleeding. And I asked him, can't you transfer? Can't you move my wife to a higher facility? Or at least call somebody, an expert, that will look at it. He kept dismissing and saying that there was
How did we get to internal bleeding?
That's the point. My wife came to the hospital hale and hearty. There was nothing, there was no underlying illness. Nothing was wrong with my wife until the whole childbirth started, until labor started. Because this bleeding started, the first complaint that my wife made was after the episciography done by the MO, the medical officer on duty. That was when my wife complained. Before then, there was no incident of bleeding. Even though episiotomy happened, and that was the beginning. So the episiotomy happened, and it was in the course of the repair, or attempted repair, or failure to repair, that led to the bleeding. So the second time the consultant looked at it, he still couldn't identify, he still couldn't fix it. So that was when my wife continued to bleed. The bleeding continued, and the man admitted to me that my wife was having internal bleeding. My wife was having internal bleeding. I'd asked you to transfer, to refer her to a higher facility. You refused and insisted that you were going to manage her. You refused to do that. You did not call an expert to come and look at it. You didn't even carry out examination or re-examination or even imaging to see where this bleeding was, the source of the bleeding. What they did was they started transfusing blood purposelessly without first identifying the cause. I mean, you needed to have identified the cause to be able to cure it. You can't be putting in blood when the blood was still going out. So it was just a cycle. And between the time my baby came and when my wife finally lost her life, we had at least 15 hours window. 15 hours. The baby arrived at about 11:44 a.m. on Wednesday. My wife passed, by my own recollection, at about 3 a.m. on Thursday. Between that time, 15 hours, and for this whole period, that was either when she was bleeding, when she complained the first time, and when they moved her to the ward, the bleeding was constant.
Okay, it's a sad memory, truly. But did she die in her ward, or she was rushed back to the theater, at least to make some amends or corrections?
So after the second procedure, when she was still bleeding, the crisis started off at about 2 a.m. At this time, they were already transfusing blood into her, but she was still bleeding. So at about 2 a.m., she suddenly woke up, and she said she was feeling uncomfortable. That's why is she uncomfortable? Baby, why am I uncomfortable? I'm uncomfortable. What's going on? Why am I uncomfortable? These were her last words. And then she started convulsing. This time when she was convulsing, I then started calling out, calling for help. The doctors and nurses had their offices on the ground floor. My wife was on the third floor. So it takes minutes before the doctors and the nurses will attend to somebody in that kind of state. There was no one-on-one monitoring, no nurse was stationed to look after my wife. It was just me and my wife's friends that came. So we're just the ones. So if you notice, we'll start calling. At times you call them on the intercom, they will not respond. And I am sure that the day my wife was delivered in that hospital, Gynescope, it was only my wife that was on admission. So I'd expected that there would be more focus on her, given the fact that she was the only patient. This is somebody who had done antenatal with you, and she had been admitted for childbirth. She was having complications as a result of the procedure. I'd expected more attention, more care, more focus. But that wasn't what we saw. The doctors were on the ground floor. The nurses were on the ground floor. It was just us. So when this crisis started, I started calling. It took minutes before they even came upstairs. When they came, I asked the doctor, where is your oxygen? That was when the doctor now sent the nurses to go fetch oxygen. They started running around. Few minutes later, I saw them bringing cylinder. You know, and what the doctor was doing at the time was he was attempting manual CPR. And I kept saying, doctor, why didn't you move my wife? You could have moved her. Doctor said, no, you can't move her. That my wife was okay. My wife was stable. I said, okay, what about now? Can we still attempt to move her out? He said, no, that you can't move her out. That no facility would receive my wife because she had no pulse. That was what he said. That without pulse, that no facility will receive. The next, he said, okay, that we can actually let us move her out. Let's attempt. So at this point of moving my wife out, I was hoping that with all of what has happened, everybody would understand the emergency and the urgency of the case. They called for a stretcher. They brought a stretcher, a rickety stretcher for that matter. The stretcher had no sidebars. Neither did it have strap. My wife was placed on the stretcher. And in the attempt to wheel her out of the floor, on the walkway of the 3rd floor, my wife fell.
Oh no. Wow.
My wife fell off the stretcher to the 3rd floor. The hospital has CCTV surveillance.
Do you also have footages of it?
No, unfortunately, I don't have footage because I couldn't have. That was not what was in your mind.
Yeah.
But I am sure the hospital has CCTV cameras on the common areas. The 3rd floor walkway is a common area. I've asked the hospital, I've challenged them to provide it. If you don't even want to give to me, put it out in the public. I've asked them to. We have even written them letter and they denied, they refused to, they declined to release the footage. But at the appropriate time, all of this will be addressed. So my wife fell off the stretcher on that 3rd floor, the walkway. I had to rush down to the place to help bring her up. The nurses and the doctors, they didn't even know whether to use the elevator. They didn't even know whether to use the stairs. And they had the regular stairs, not like they had the stairs where you can roll people on stretcher. Eventually, they decided to use the elevator. I had to, bend the legs of my wife so that she can be comfortable enough in that elevator. We got downstairs. I was hoping that with all of what happened upstairs, the ambulance should be ready and stationed. Unfortunately, the ambulance was not even ready to move. It was still parked along very close to the gate and, spent a lot of time before they moved my wife. Finally, when we got to Lagos Island Maternity, which I led them, they had no referral arrangements. I led them to the hospital. That was where my wife was brought in there.
All right, because we're pressed for time, the story you painted is quite really horrifying, I must tell you. But of course, we will still have time to call you back to give us more details as regards what steps you intend to take further. Really sorry about the events that really occurred.
Not just what step you intend to take further, and what's your advice for the government on the healthcare sector?
Well, my advice to the government would be that I think government is losing sight on their regulatory and supervisory functions. So maybe this can be a rallying point for governments across board, particularly Lagos State.
Okay.
And I say this because between when this incident happened, my legal counsel have written government authorities and agencies. As I speak to you, we have written to the Commissioner for Health, we have written to the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, we have written to the Permanent Secretary, Health Service Commission, we have written to the Permanent Secretary, Health Facility Monitoring and
any response from any of these quarters?
As we speak.
All right.
No formal response as we speak.
All right, so we'll do our best to have them at least have a day to, react to these issues. Thank you so much, Justice John, for giving us your, experience as regards the late wife of yours. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
So sorry.
Good morning. Big thanks for joining me on the news round at this time. I am Philip Omo-Gyupo. The assault and public humiliation of scholar, media veteran, Nollywood icon, and cultural advocate Dr. Pedro Obaseki by hoodlums in Benin City, Edo State, has sparked nationwide condemnation, raising fresh concerns over security lapses and respect for the rule of law. Dr. Pedro Obaseki was abducted on Sunday while playing football at Owa Primary School, Igbesaman Street, following allegations that he used inappropriate traditional salutation. Jolade Ojo has details.
What was meant to be a moment of relaxation turned traumatic for Dr. Pedro Obaseki, who was attacked and abducted by hoodlums while playing football at Owa Primary School in Benin City. In a video released after the incident, Dr. Obaseki narrated how he was accused of using a wrong traditional salutation at an event in London. He said he was beaten, stripped naked, and dragged through several streets in Benin City, where he was forced to plead for his life. He described the experience as deeply traumatizing.
The allegation was that I said Edo Ratokbe, meaning may Edo people live long, instead of me saying Oba Ratokbe, may the Oba live long. I have absolutely no altercation with the palace. I've been a purveyor of the culture of my people. I was basically abducted by hoodlums. So I'm going to press charges. I'm going to seek legal recompense. I don't understand. My children are traumatized, my family.
In reaction, human rights organizations, including Amnesty International, alongside the Benin Summit Group and legal practitioners in Benin City, condemned the assault, describing it as unlawful and a gross violation of human dignity. They called for the immediate arrest and prosecution of those responsible.
What happened in that video is totally condemnable. Before you know, Edo State will turn to Togri. Whoever is found wanting should be charged to court. Nobody is above the law.
It is alarming that there was no single policeman who could have come to the rescue of Dr. Pedro Obaseki. We envisage that security should be visible. It checks crime.
A constitutional lawyer and human rights activist based in Warri, Barrister Kesley Omoirabo, described the incident as a national disgrace, urging authorities to carry out a thorough investigation to ensure justice for the victim.
He has the fundamental right of freedom of speech. You beat him up, street him naked, drag him in the street. For what? Those boys must be arrested. Death with.
A Lagos resident, Pastor Oshodi, condemned the barbaric and unlawful conduct of the hoodlums.
That is a father of children. He has family who watch that thing. But what are these people trying to insinuate in Edo State? Where are these people returning us to? I'm so bitter as I'm with you now because I don't know how to express it.
Ahmed Tijani, a resident of Abuja, also condemned the act in strong terms, calling on the Nigerian police force to track down and prosecute the perpetrators.
I never expected that a thing like this would happen to someone like Dr. Don Pedro Obaseki. We cannot allow that to happen. And if the police truly wants to do their job, it will not take a rocket science because the faces of those persons are known.
With Nigerians across the country demanding justice for Dr. Pedro Obaseki, attention now turns to law enforcement agencies to ensure that those responsible are identified and brought to justice, reinforcing the principle that the rule of law must remain supreme. Jola Diojo, ITV News.
Parents have been urged to instill the values of integrity and upright living in their children, drawing inspiration from the exemplary legacy of their forebears. This call was made during a Thanksgiving service held at Jesus Breeds Ministry, popularly known as Jubilee City, to mark the 188th remembrance of the late Iyase Noeme Odia of the Benin Kingdom. Joe Baisiagbo has the rest of it.
The Iyase Noeme Odia family Thanksgiving service attracted family members, friends, and well-wishers from within and outside Nigeria. Among the dignitaries in attendance was the chairman of Independent Television and Radio, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Igbenedi on the Esama of Benin. In his sermon, Reverend Collins Edebi admonished parents to acknowledge God as their Almighty Father and to deliberately guide their children along the path of righteousness and godly values.
This morning, I came to ask you, who are you? Being a descendant of Iyase Noeme has given us pride.
The service was enlivened with soul-lifting songs from the church choir as family members danced joyfully to the altar in thanksgiving to God for the gift of life and enduring legacy of their patriarch. Some family members and friends, including the lead pastor, Bishop Dr. Eddie Omowi Okundaye, and the Esama of Benin, expressed gratitude to God for the success of the Thanksgiving service and prayed for continued unity and progress in the family.
I thank Bishop Omowi Okundaye and Pastor Zeyamu, who started this thing in a choking manner and became a successful worldwide. God bless them.
Thanksgiving to him. For the past 188 years, the Lord God has sustained us, has preserved us, has showered His chosen blessings upon us. We've been moving from glory to glory.
Well, we give God thanks and honor for being able to be part of this family reunion and remembrance.
God is doing a great thing in this family. He's making great men and women to spring up in this family. We thank God for that.
I came from Canada, at least to do this we as a know-him. Because even we now know ourselves. Some people you've not seen before, even people you don't even know that it's your family. You now say, oh, we as a know-him. Okay, we as a so.
From Benin, Joy Obaisiagbon, ITV News.
Independent Television and Radio has rounded off the year with its 2025 end-of-year dinner and award night held at the Uyi Grand Event Center in GRA Benin City. The event, which celebrated excellence, dedication and teamwork, featured the presentation of awards to staff who won in different categories. Ofuri Anito, who captured highlights of the glitz and glamour, reports that a special award was also presented to the Managing Director of ITV and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, in recognition of his commitment to staff welfare.
The Uyi Grand Event Center in GRA, Benin City was agog with festivities as Independent Television and Radio held its 2025 end-of-year dinner and award night, bringing together management, staff, sponsors, and several dignitaries to celebrate dedication, excellence, and teamwork. In his remarks, the Managing Director of ITV and Radio, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, expressed appreciation to the founder and Esama of Benin, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Osawa Wigbenedio, for providing the enabling environment for the station to attain enviable heights.
This is what we are out here for this evening. Celebrate you, reward you, appreciate you, encourage you, and motivate you to be better than you are this year.
Highlights of the ceremony was the unveiling of ITV and Radio First Brand Ambassador Sydney Shoka. Some of the dignitaries presented awards in various categories to winners. GM Group Commercial Services, Mrs. Odum Balogun, emerged Best Manager of the Year. Deputy General Manager, Programs Division, Dr. Sonny Duke Okosun, won the overall Best Staff of the Year award, and Jolade Ojo won Best Staff in the Newsroom. Other honors included Departmental Best Staff and Supermarketer of the Year.
I'm highly elated to win this award back to back. I give it all to God because He's my helper and my everything.
This award is to all the staff of ITV and Radio. Because I don't know what you've seen in me to consistently for the past 3 years give me this honor.
The staff and guests were excited as an award was also presented to the Managing Director, Engineer Elvis Obaseki, for his outstanding leadership and commitment to the growth of the station.
I'm so happy. I cannot even describe my joy. All reasons to even work more for the department and the company at large.
I thank my colleagues also for voting for me 2 years in a row. My colleagues, thank you.
I want to first of all thank God Almighty for making it possible for me to be here today. And I also want to thank the management of ITV and Radio.
I'm a recipient of this award. It's very, very humbling and also deeply encouraging.
On behalf of Independent Television and Radio, I present you this special award for presentation in ITV Radio for this year. Congratulations, sir.
We want to thank God Almighty for a day as this. It's been a day we had looked forward to. It has come upon us. To God alone be all the glory.
From Benin, Ofure and Neto, ITV News.
And that's it on the news round. Thanks for watching. I am Philip Omo-Gyupon. Coming shortly is TMI Socials with Chico Funaya. Happy viewing.
ITV, certainly the best.
Good morning and welcome. This is TMI Socials. I am Chukufumnanya Digwe, and here's what's making waves across the social media space. Now, we begin with a sad story that has taken the social media space by storm, as former heavyweight boxing champion Anthony Joshua survived a serious road accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway near Shagamu on Monday. Now, Joshua was a passenger in an SUV that collided with a stationary truck, leaving him with minor injuries, while his personal trainer, Kevin Abdul Latif Lats Ayodele, and strength coach Shina Gami were confirmed dead. Nigeria road safety officials said the crash is under investigations, with preliminary findings pointing to speeding and overtaking maneuver, as well as concerns over improperly packed heavy vehicles. Joshua was treated at a hospital and is reported to be stable, as tributes and condolences continue to pour in. Now, this is a very, very sad story. It's been making rounds across the social media space, with a lot of people talking about it, a lot of people saying and also critiquing the way he was brought out of the vehicle, calling for better scrutiny when it comes to emergency response in the country. Now, let's get to see this video of Anthony Joshua being dragged or pulled out of the rubbles, and then we'll talk more about it. We'll take reactions as well. Well, that is a short snippet of Anthony Joshua being pulled out of the accident rubble. It's been making waves across the social media space. Now, let's see how the social media space is reacting. We'll take the first one, which happens to be the statement of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as regards it. He says, AJ, I extend my deep sympathies to you following the tragic accident on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which claimed 2 precious lives and caused you injuries. This immense tragedy casts a deep shadow on the season. I sympathize with you and your family, as well as you bear the emotional weight of this unfortunate incident. As a sportsman, you have always shown courage, discipline, and unwavering love for your country. These are qualities that have made you a source of national pride. In moments like this, we must encourage one another as brothers and sisters with a shared destiny. I pray for strength, wisdom, and grace for you during this painful period. May God grant you speedy recovery and repose to the souls of the departed. That is the statement of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu as regards the crash of Anthony Joshua and, of course, his coach. Let's take other comments. Mr. P Square says, this accident has shattered me completely. Lats and Shina, I can't believe you're gone. Why? To my brother Anthony Joshua, my heart breaks for you. Lats and Shina will forever live in our memories and in the love they left behind. Even in the middle of this storm, we are grateful to God for sparing your life. May He comfort you, guide you, and help you carry their legacy with pride and strength. You are in our thoughts and prayers. Stay strong, brother. That's another comment. Let's take one more comment before we move on to the next story. This comment by Masterpiece says, nothing embarrassing here. Let's remove sentiments aside. The incident happened and the policemen who were escorting him rushed him to the hospital immediately. Now, that's a different perspective from what we've been having. Let's take the second story on the social media space that's actually trending right now. As President Tinubu attends Eyo Festival wearing a luxury timepiece. Now, the president made a public appearance at the festival wearing a rose gold Patek Philippe Nautilus, a luxury wristwatch reportedly valued at 260 $270,000. The sighting drew attention on social media, with observers noting the rare timepiece during the culturally significant Lagos Festival. Yes, of course, you know, this display of luxury has a social media space reacting. The president's wearing a watch that is worth about $270,000. Let's see what people are saying now. Well, the first reaction goes along to say the conversation is not about whether Tinubu can afford the watch. He has always been a wealthy man. The issue is timing, optics, and leadership in a country where people are choosing between food and transport. When citizens are tightening belts because of fuel subsidy removal, inflation, and tax pressure, a 270K luxury watch at a cultural event doesn't read as tradition. It reads as emotional disconnect. Let's take the final comment on that story. This commenter says someone who donated $1 billion to Lasso before he became president. He donates to states in 100 million, 200 million. This is not news. He never projected himself as a poor man before. He was very rich before he joined politics. Now, those are the comments. Let's quickly rush through the final story because we're pressed for time. Now, this one is as explosion hits General Hospital in Kebbi State. Although no casualties were recorded, it's still something that the Kebbi State Police Command has confirmed and stated that security operatives have secured the facility and investigations were ongoing to determine the cause of the explosion and assess any damage to hospital infrastructure. This is something that is also pressing as regards the security architecture of the country. Let's see what people are saying. Now, for the first reaction, it says, this is chilling. An explosion at a hospital is every citizen's nightmare. Thank God no casualties were recorded, but this raises serious questions about security at public institutions. Authorities need to investigate thoroughly and ensure our hospitals are safe. This could have been a disaster. Let's take the final comment before we do wrap up the TMI Socials segment. This one says, no casualties is a relief, but an explosion in a hospital is deeply alarming. Yes, it seems the comments have a recurrent theme. No casualties, very good, but it's still alarming that this could happen at a hospital. Now, here's where I draw the curtain on TMI Socials today. Thank you so much for joining in. I am Chukufum Nanya Digwe. We'll now rejoin the TMI crew for the finalization of the program. We'll take a break now.
Just less than 48 hours to the new year 2026. I only urge you to remain law-abiding, and if you see crime, report it and stay away from violence, from trouble. And if you must drink, please don't drive. And if you must drive, stay off drinking. I am Philip Omo Gupmo. See you in the next one. Bye for now.
and a prosperous new year from Independent Television and Radio.